All right, let's talk AI. If you're leading a business today, I bet you're wrestling with one massive question. Should we use one of the big off-the-shelf AI models, or should we build our own? It's a huge decision, and by the end of this quick explainer, you're going to know exactly which path is right for you.
Look, this is so much more than a tech decision for your engineering team. This is a fundamental business strategy question. One path gets you to market like tomorrow, but it could drain your budget as you grow. The other path, it gives you total control, but man, it requires a serious upfront investment. Getting this right from the start is absolutely crucial.
So, to cut through all the jargon, LLMs, APIs, GPUs, all of it, we're going to use a super simple analogy that makes everything click. Just think about real estate. The question is this: are you renting a serviced office or are you building your own corporate headquarters?
Okay, let's dive into that first option, renting your AI office. This is, without a doubt, the fastest way to get your company powered by AI.
This is the world of what we call closed large language models, or LLMs. And it's exactly like it sounds. You're renting a premium, fully furnished office space. You pay a fee, you get a key, and boom, the lights are on, the internet is screaming fast, security's at the door, everything just works right out of the box.
And the landlords in this world? Well, they're the names you'd expect, the big tech giants. We're talking about OpenAI with their GPT models, Google with Gemini, and Anthropic with Claude. They own the skyscrapers, and you're just renting a floor.
So what are the trade-offs? Well, the pros are pretty amazing. You get to market incredibly fast with almost no upfront cost. Plus, you don't need a whole team of PhDs just to get started. But there's always a but, right? You have very little control. You can't just knock down a wall if you want to. And here's the kicker. Your sensitive company data has to leave your building and go into theirs to get processed. You have to trust your landlord completely.
But what if trusting a landlord just isn't an option for you? What if you need absolute, total control over your environment? Well, then we need to talk about building your very own AI fortress.
This brings us to the world of open LLMs. In our analogy, this isn't renting anymore. You're buying a plot of land and building a custom headquarters from the ground up. You get the architectural blueprints, the AI model itself, often for free. But you have to hire the crew, buy the steel, and run the electricity yourself.
So, who are the architects giving you these blueprints? You've got players like Meta with their fantastic Llama models, the European powerhouse Mistral, and models like Falcon that you can grab from hubs like Hugging Face. They give you the world-class design, but you're in charge of the construction.
And what you'll notice right away is how the pros and cons are completely flipped on their head here. The number one reason to build is total data sovereignty. Your data never ever leaves your firewall. For industries like healthcare, finance, or law, that's not a nice to have, it's non-negotiable. You get to customize everything. The downside? You're the building manager now. It's a huge upfront cost for hardware. We're talking specialized chips called GPUs, and the engineers to run it all. If something breaks, guess who's fixing it? You are.
Okay, this brings us to the most important part of this whole conversation. It's the part that most leaders totally miss because they're focused on features. Let's talk about the real cost of AI.
When you strip it all away, the decision to rent or build isn't really about open versus closed AI. It's a classic business choice that every CFO knows by heart. Are you committing to an operating expense, OpEx, or a capital expense, CapEx? And understanding this is the key to avoiding a massive financial trap. This table just lays it out perfectly, doesn't it? When you rent a closed model, your cost is OpEx, a predictable, pay-as-you-go monthly bill. When you build, it's CapEx, one big upfront check. For security, renting is based on trust. Building is zero trust because the data never leaves. And implementation? Renting is instant. Building is slow. You trade speed for control every time. Let's actually see what this looks like on a graph. When you're just starting out, renting is, well, it's a no-brainer on cost. That bar is super low. You get an API key and you're off to the races. Building, on the other hand, that's a huge bar. That's your big capital investment in servers and people. But, and this is the big but, watch what happens when you scale. As your usage grows, that monthly rental cost can explode. Imagine you have a customer service bot that's used by 100,000 people a day. Your bill is going to skyrocket. Meanwhile, if you've already built your headquarters, your costs stay pretty much flat. You own the machine.
So there it is. That's the financial trap. Cheap to start, but potentially crazy expensive to scale. And knowing that is the key that unlocks this entire decision. So with that in mind, how do you actually choose your company's path? Let's make it really simple.
You should absolutely choose to rent a closed model if you're a startup or a smaller business, where speed is everything. If you have to launch fast to beat the competition, and your main use case is pretty general, writing emails, summarizing reports, renting is the perfect move. On the other hand, you should choose to build with an open model if you're in a highly regulated industry. Think finance, healthcare, legal, anywhere data security is paramount. If you're protecting sensitive IP or, and this is key, if you are planning to scale massively and need predictable costs, building is really the only strategic choice.
But let me leave you with one final thought, because maybe the question isn't either or. The smartest companies I'm seeing are actually doing both. They rent the serviced office to test out a bunch of ideas really fast, see what sticks, and find a product market fit. Then, once they've found a winner, they invest in building their own headquarters to lock down their data and save a fortune at scale. So the real question is, which stage is your business at right now?